Welcome back to Roby D's Garage. The decision has been made. I am going to get rid of the Slant 6 torsion bars out of this car and replace them with the V8 torsion bars. I cannot get that front end to ride any higher than what it is right now, and even though it has kind of a cool rake to it, we want this to be higher than what this mark is on the shovel. Right now, this car is running with 14-inch front wheels. The plan is to eventually swap out the old drum brakes with the small bolt pattern to a 15-inch 5-on-4 bolt pattern disc brake. That way I can put fatter tires on this car. This car I think would look a little bit better with bigger front wheels with a little bit fatter profile. These front skinnies just don't do it for me, and the car feels a little scary to drive. Yeah, it's great in a straight line, but whipping around a corner or anything like that, you lose all control of the car, and it's not fun. So I took a trip over to Mancini and I bought a set of PST 1.03 inch diameter torsion bars, and they're gonna go underneath. We're gonna swap them out. Maybe I'll do a little recording of it, maybe not. We'll see. It's the beginning of February. It only looks like rain out there, but there was a little bit of an ice storm last night. Everything's thawing out, but I don't get to spend a lot of time out here in the cold in this garage because it's just that cold. It's miserable. There's not a lot of room, but time to start doing a couple of things to the car. Front suspension is going to be one of them. First thing is going to be the torsion bars, though. So we're going to put them in. We're going to check the ride height. We're going to take her for a spin eventually and see how she rides, see if she handles better. That's a big part of it, is I just want it to handle better. And as I go, I'll make it less dangerous. All right, we'll get to it and move forward from there. Okay, so I got one bar out. This is your standard torsion bar for a 6-cylinder or a Slant 6 Plymouth Duster, and that's going to be replaced with a new heavy-duty torsion bar. So as you can tell, the diameter is much thicker on this torsion bar. This one here is a 1.03 diameter, and I think these are like 890 or something, maybe even a little smaller. You know, like 7/8 and a 1 1/32 is the difference. What this bigger bar is going to do is it's going to provide much more stability with my car, and it's going to raise the front end up, and I will show that once it's all back together, because this little bar here didn't have enough strength to hold up a V8 in there. So the trade-off, a lot of guys will say, well, the smaller bar, you know, when you launch these cars, you'll get that release where it lifts up a lot easier, and it puts the load on the rear end for traction. Well, this ain't a race car. This is a hot rod. So I mean, if I spin the tires, I'm fine. This may provide a rougher ride too, but that's okay. This is just too small, so it had to come out. It was a bear getting out. And usually you have to have a tool. I have a homemade tool right here that I built out of angle and block. You just put the block on the bar like that. The angle goes there. You put a bunch of bolts in it, squeeze it down, and beat it with a mallet till it moves out This is just scrap metal I had laying around with my heaps of scrap metal that I got everywhere. So that's how you pull that out. It was a pain in the butt, but I got it done. So, yep. Small bar, much fatter. I don't know if you can actually see if I do that. No, not really. The camera won't let you see the big difference. But it's much thicker, much more robust. And that'll be going in. They are the same length, in case anybody's wondering. It might be a 1/8 of an inch smaller on the bigger bar, but that's okay. It'll be going in soon. And hopefully we'll get to take a test drive and see if it makes a difference. I'm sure it will. So, okay, we'll keep moving. Okay, so just like that, the torsion bar is in. It was pretty straightforward. It slid right into place, so cleared everything. So we will move on to the passenger side and see how she looks. It keyed right in, everybody, in case you're wondering. I didn't have to mess with the lower control arm. I didn't have to force it in any one direction or the other. Both keys lined right up. Hopefully that's how it goes. I've done these a couple of times and I always assumed that there had to be some sort of preload on these, but I'm not thinking so. So we'll get to the passenger side. We'll get that tire off over there soon enough and start the process all over again. I got a couple ideas up my sleeve that I may share about loosening these up. That thing was stuck in that coupling right there. Man, that sucker was stuck tight. So we're going to see how the other side comes out. I mean, I banged and banged and banged. It was like pounding on something that was welded. So, okay. Okay. Well, there she is. Got the torsion mounts in. She's sitting a little higher. Let me get my precision measuring tool here. Okay, sorry. Okay, there's the mark. So she's about 1.5 inches taller right now, where it sets out front with my handy dandy measuring tool. So okay, it's all back together. Hopefully it looks good, feels good. We'll do a test drive after the snow flies and clears up. We're supposed to get a storm today. We're all waiting on it. Got to get the van out of the way. But it definitely sits up a little bit better. I like that. Of course, being that it's me and my car, I don't know if it's just me. It's that curse that I have, but the torsion bars, here's the old ones. The front mount on the passenger side, the coupling on the lower control arm, the pressed fitting apparently came loose at one time, and where it was attached to this, where it was attached to the arm, it slid on the arm and somebody welded it. Well, that weld was cracked, so that thing was rotating on the arm a little bit. So I had to get under there, clean it out with a grinder and re-weld it so it's solid on the control arm. I'm planning on this summer swapping out my I think these are 9-inch drum brakes. I want to swap them out for a disc brake conversion. So I'm going to be piecing together the parts, and when I do that, I'm going to be pulling the lower control arms. I'm probably going to replace all the bushing, uppers and lowers and all that stuff. You know, do a front end rebuild. Actually, for the car being as old as it is, it doesn't wander all over the place, but looking under there, you could see all the rubber was kind of rotting away. So that means it can look much better or feel much better once I get all the new stuff in, and I want to get the disc brakes. I still don't know if I want to swap out my power brake booster for a manual and just go with manual just for to have a little extra room under the engine bay. It's just I have a vacuum thing with the engine. It's not like super big cam or nothing, but I still don't have. I don't know. The brakes work okay, but they're drums and they're 14-inch. I mean they're meant for a 4-inch bolt pattern, small bolt pattern on the front, and I got the bigger bolt pattern on the back. And I'd like to get 15-inch wheels out front, and as everybody knows, they're kind of difficult to find with a 4-inch bolt pattern, but I'd like to get bigger wheels, fatter tires. I'd like for this car to have like fatties all the way around instead of a little bit skinnier out front. I don't like the way the car handles. It's a street car. It's meant to, be driven around, hit a couple of corners and stuff. I'm not racing it, obviously, but more than just a straight line runner. So we'll see how it goes. We'll take it for a ride. I'll have this all packed into probably one video, and we'll see how she handles, if she takes the corners a little better and all that happy stuff. So, all right, I'm just glad I got her back together and on its feet before the snow flies out there and in wonderful southeast Michigan. So, okay, we'll see what happens. All right, let's take her for a drive. See how the torsion bars feel. This is with the new torsion bars. The front end's sitting pretty dang high. Front end is sitting up pretty high, which I like. So we'll have to, but it's a little too high also. So we will make some adjustment and get her sitting better. Go from there. Alright, I'm gonna shut this off so I can drive it around, feel it. Okay, well there you have it. She's back home in the garage. I'm sitting a little high to the right. I think the front end's got to come down a ways. We'll let this side down a little more with the torsion bars, and maybe a little bit on the left side too, just to kind of equalize everything. Yeah, she sits a little high. I need a little more rake. So, but the torsion bars are a success, and we'll be moving on to the next thing. Weather's starting to get warm out here. First drive of the spring, so, or I guess you could call it spring. But okay, thanks for watching, folks.